Hello, English 1022 students. I am here to say congratulations. You've made it to Module 10. You have one more assignment for the final, which is not a test. It's just a reflection on your writing. And we'll be talking about that in a minute. But congratulations for making it through a summer class. They're so fast. So much is happening in our lives right now. So it's feels to me not only that the pace of the course was very quick, but that we're all sort of struggling through stuff and things that are changing at almost a non-stop speed. So congratulations for sticking it out and learning a lot about your writing. I'm super excited, not only that you learned some argumentative structures and got to practice some more academic research and using sources. I mean, those are the two primary learning outcomes of the course, but you also got to explore your writing voice a little bit. I'm sure several of you, I was going to do a video last week but didn't get to it. I'm sure several of you are aware because you've had some choices in the last two assignments about medium and then this modality, this digital or analog component that you've created to express your argument for Essay 4. I'm sure you're starting to think about your writing voice a little bit. There's an academic voice, and then there's another voice that is you, that expresses your argument or your ideas, about a topic in a different voice. So I'm glad you got to realize that you have a different voice. And I encourage you, a different writing voice, I should say, and I encourage you to sometimes write drafts in that different voice before you submit an argument that, or an essay or a term paper that is for a course, even if you're writing it in a professional capacity, to try to write something in your own voice first and then make adjustments before you submit it. Just because I notice a big difference between errors, sentence errors, when you all are writing in an academic voice, because you're trying to express yourself through a voice that is not yours and that you haven't practiced a lot. So it tends to create more errors and more confusion in your sentences. But when you write in your own voice and you express your ideas through that voice, your ideas come across clearly. You have fewer errors usually. So I'm really excited that you got to feel what that's like so that you can use that to your advantage in your future writing. I'm also really glad you got to learn about the rhetorical situation. I think it's the most important skill you're taking away from this class. Again, learning the argumentative structures is awesome. All of us like to be able to express our points of view and appear to be logical, but also to use pathos and ethos in effective ways. But I'm more satisfied that you learned the rhetorical situation, because you'll find yourself in your future writing for many different reasons and to many different audiences, and knowing how to sit in that situation and be able to write based on the choices you've made within that rhetorical situation is huge. It's made a big difference in my own professional work, that I know who my audience is and that I know who I'm writing to. Whether it's proposals for grants or proposals for professional conferences or obtaining a job and writing a letter, and knowing how to be me within that rhetorical situation is really important. So congratulations once again. All right, so a couple of housekeeping things. I'm going to try to keep this video under 8 minutes. I'm about halfway there. The rest of this should be pretty fast. So the final assignment, I think I am in D2L, so let me go there, is a final reflection essay. When you go to course materials and content and open up module 10, it's near the top. I think I'm already in module 10. I am. So it's near the top. Here's the last weekly schedule. There's nothing due during the week, so you have a full week to do the following things. Finish your last check-in meeting if you haven't done it. The second one is worth 50 points. This is the sign-up sheet for this week, so make sure you have a conference time in place. There's no grace period deadline on this, so the deadline is 4 o'clock, August 5th. We can talk about a previous essay. We can talk about how you would revise that previous essay. I'm talking about essays 3 and 4. Some of you have Essay 3 back. Many of you will get Essay 3 today or tomorrow. And then Essay 4, I'm assuming I'm getting today, yesterday, today, tomorrow, since I gave an extension on that one. So we can talk about that. We can talk about your reflection essay. We can talk about sentence structures that you want to try, punctuation marks, the common errors that are showing up in your writing, if you need help correcting those. So lots of topics we can still talk about at the end of the semester. I am asking you to think about sentence variety a little bit this week. There's no assignment related to it other than I'm just asking you to look at one more handout. This comes from a different textbook, this handout. I use this in my campus classes quite a bit to teach inverted periodic and cumulative sentences. And there's like this really cool table in there that shows simple, compound, and complex sentences as well. So I encourage you to look at the handout and to use the information about the sentence structure. This is a repeat, right? You've reviewed this already, but this is a new one, this new sentence variety handout. So I encourage you to check it out and think about your sentence structure in this reflection essay, because you get to be you in the reflection essay. You're writing about your writing, your use of the rhetorical situation, your use of revision, your use of different sentence structures that you learned this semester, etc. So it would be a good time for you to try some new sentences, since you'll be writing primarily in your writing voice as a learner. You might shift a little bit into an academic voice if you feel like it, but you don't have to. And then these are the instructions. There's 3 sources required. I want to give you more practice with source usage because it's one of the primary learning outcomes of this course, but I also want you to reflect on your use of all of these different things. So I've created a list of some of the sources you should have looked at already this semester. You can use these, or you can find your own. And the instructions link is here. These are the sources that take you to documents we've already looked at this semester. And then I've posted 2 examples. Landon's is from almost a year ago. I really like Landon's and Olivia's letters, reflections. I can't remember if they wrote them as letters or as reflections. It doesn't really matter because you're writing primarily to me as the instructor of the course. So I like both of them and use them as examples because you can tell that they are authentically reflecting on what they learned and how they feel their writing has changed this semester. So take a look at those examples if you need to. You don't have to. Let's look at the instructions very quickly, just so I can go over them with you. So here's kind of I'm defining what your purpose is. You're writing 3 pages double spaced. It's in MLA format. Include a works cited page. You're using 3 sources, so you can use any source that you want, any of the ones I've provided. So that would save you some time. You won't have to research them. But if you decide to research your own, make sure that they help you to provide some insight on writing, revising the rhetorical situation. This should be argumentative structure. I'll change that. That's just a typo. Sentence variety, trope schemes you've learned in class. I think the thing I'll say is this is kind of a broad assignment because you've written 4 different pieces. And so you can decide to write your reflection essay on one essay and kind of think about these different aspects, or you might kind of reverse it and think about the different aspects and which assignment kind of brought those into the foreground for you, so that you were thinking about these concepts specifically. So you know, those are the 2 extremes. You can definitely find something in the middle that kind of creates some balance, but I offer that advice to you because you should be talking about your essays. You should be talking about your writing from the class in this reflection essay. And I'll remind you that you've done a little bit of this reflection already this semester. You did it when you submitted the midterm revision. I asked some questions. I've asked you to, when you submit workshop drafts, to tell strengths and weaknesses. So you've had some practice with this kind of reflection here and there in the course. So writing an essay about this should be pretty easy for a final assignment. And then, you know, it's due in a week. You have a full week to do this. I won't be posting another module on Sunday night next week. This module runs from today, Monday, until next Monday. The end of the day, the assignment Dropbox is already ready to go. And then just 2 more announcements. Let me go make sure I have, don't forget what I'm covering in the video. grade book will be all the way updated, I hope, by Friday. So that would mean you'll have Essay 3 back, Essay 4 back. If you want to do that optional revision on Essay 3 or 4, you can, but that's not a requirement. You could, for your reflection essay, think about revisions you would be making to those pieces and adding that into your reflection essay. So that's another thing you could write about. Gradebook will be up to date by Friday. And so one thing I wanted to point out is that there's a component of the grade that you're earning that has to do with quizzes and discussion board posts and stuff like that. And then there's a separate journal component of the grade. And I went over 10 points in the quizzes and the discussion board. So I'm kind of borrowing 10 points from that journal category. And then also I need you to know that I'm going to be adding a column in there to give points to people who participated in the workshops. I sort of stopped adding points for that, not intentionally, just something that happened. So I'm going to go back and tally up who did posts on which workshop, and so you'll see some points showing up in that journal category that kind of take up the rest of the points there. So just letting you know how that is working for those kind of participatory points of the course, and if you have questions, let me know. And I would also say that if you have questions about your gradebook, to make sure you email me by the end of the day on August 8th so that I can clear up any questions you have about your gradebook. So the final revision of Essay 3 or 4, I'm going to put here as optional, don't forget. And then it's due by the end of the day on the 8th as well. So if you wanted to try to earn some more points on either of those assignments because you've made some revisions, you can do that. So you can be spending time on revision this week and writing a reflection essay, and then doing that that check-in meeting. I almost called it a conference, a check-in meeting with me, which is one of your final assignments of the semester. Final grades will be posted in eWolf by noon on August 11th. So I have from the 8th until the 11th to post comments on your final reflection. And so be looking for those comments to be posted by noon on the 11th. I think that's it. Of course, if you have any questions, let me know. It's been great working with you. And I'm so glad that I get to read the reflections at the end of this semester, because then I get to really learn from you what you've learned from the course. And I hope you take all these writing skills forward into all the different rhetorical situations you'll find yourself in your future. Take care, everyone.